Okay, so if everybody could grab your cup of coffee and get seated, we'll get started with the program again.
Where are we at?
We're right here on the trivia part. Just need to go over the trivia.
Okay.
Bring everyone. Yeah.
What's that? Page down. Yep.
Play.
Yep.
All right.
You up?
No, you.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. So I just wanted to take just a quick minute for electric operations. We've got 4 crews working down in California with Pacific Gas and Electric right now. We're part of a very robust mutual aid agreement. We sent crews clear up into Washington, down into California, a lot of other utilities. While those crews are down there, we've got a skeleton crew or 2 hanging out here taking care of business. Those guys were out last night responding to a car hit pole along with a water crew who's out there on a broken water main. So there are people to stay here and cover for everyone who's gone. I want to take just a moment to appreciate those guys and thank you for stepping up. We appreciate that. Also, just during this last ice storm, we tend to get very focused in electric operations. What we want to do is get the lights back on just as fast as we can. But it's very apparent to a lot of us, and I just want to make sure that everybody understands, we don't do that alone. I think for every lineman out there, there's probably 30 people back in the utility, whether they're answering phones, working in planning and operations, from water, from public affairs to everyone else out there who helps out. And so for every person out there, there's probably 30 people behind them helping them. So I want to tell you thank you from electric operations. We couldn't do it alone, and we appreciate everyone's help. So please give yourself a round of applause. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move on to the trivia. What we're going to do here is we're going to holler out some groups, and we would like you to participate in giving us the answers. So the first one, in 2016, how many households were helped by limited income programs? Customer service. Correct, 5,400. Awesome.
Hey, number 2. This one is going out to the line crews back there. What 2 teams are playing in the 2017 Super Bowl? If you guys don't answer, it's going to be on your performance reviews.
A. They said A.
They said A.
I heard them.
You guys got a lucky guess. Thank you.
All right, in 2016, what was the read accuracy rate for eWeb meter readers. How about meter readers tell us that? Correct.
Hey,
Good job.
thank you.
Oh,
This one's loaded.
this, yeah.
What is Oregon's official state nut?
Welcome.
We're looking at environmental here for this answer.
Hazelnut.
Hazelnut it is.
Correct.
Thank you.
Way to go, environmental. That Delabertus nut wasn't my idea.
I'd have gone with C.
How much are residential, by how much are residential electric rates increasing this year? We think everybody in this room should shout this one out. 0. Yes.
Thank you.
Good job.
Where does Luke tell Leia that she is his sister? Was that IT?
That had to be an IT guy. How much does a K-gal of water, 1,000 gallons, cost the average customer? How about water ops for that? Come on, water ops. Hello?
They know you're retiring.
Anybody? There you go, customer service, way to step up.
Thank you. What percent of eWeb's power supply portfolio is renewable? And we're looking for power operations here, unless IT wants to jump in again. 89 it is. Thank you
89.
very much.
Good job.
Give yourself a round of
let's go.
applause.
We all-
Thank you.
You guys got them all right. That's all right. Oh, except for water ops. Yeah, I don't know. Customer service had to step up for you.
All right, so now we're going to have a video that shortly after Frank took over as general manager, he embarked out there what we call the Tour de Frank. Everyone got a chance to meet Frank, and he was poking into what you do out there and getting to know people, taking a genuine interest in what we do out there. So this is just a short video about that, about his efforts to connect with the work group and what he views as the priorities for eWeb.
Yeah, he's just trying to get the message out to everybody in the community as well as throughout our organization.
This was my mom's truck, but she always wanted me to have it. No air conditioning, no radio, as basic as you can get. I love the idea of a community-owned utility. Being able to come back to my hometown and contribute in an organization that has such a big impact on the community is really special for me. Resiliency is a key part of our strategy. We have a single source, the Mackenzie River, and a single water treatment facility on that river. The water is held in great esteem by the community. At the same time, we recognize it's vulnerable. So how do you protect the product quality at the same time addressing the issue of resiliency is the strategic challenge for the water utility. On the electric utility, we're faced with new market dynamics. Both the supply and the demand or consumption are both changing in a more rapid way than they have historically. In order to address that, we need to get customers to participate with us to help us align consumption with our supply. We also need to be resilient in our workforce. We need to adapt, we need to be flexible, and that's also part of our resiliency strategy. There's times as a leader you have to choose and you have to listen. And understanding the relationship between those two and the timing between those two is important. It's especially important in Eugene, which is a very passionate community. It's a community that likes to get involved, and we need that involvement as a utility. In the first phase, we need to work on our affordability. We need to work on the relationship that we have with customers. They need to feel like eWeb is easy to work with, easy to do business with. In the second phase, we will launch some new products that help in that alignment of supply and demand. And in the third phase, we need to remember why we were doing that. We need to assess, are we getting the results from those new products that we expected? Change is inevitable. How we handle, how we drive, how we inspire change is the difference between organizations that move forward and organizations that get things done and those that don't. As a utility, we have to recognize that our marketplaces, our customer expectations, those are driving us to change. Change also means improvement. There's a variety of different needs in the community. There's a variety of different views on technology in the community. Opt-in allows us to match a number of different products with different customer segments. Modernization is not just about technology. It's about using technology, it's about listening to customer expectations, and it's about adapting technology for the benefit of, in our case, our community. This is where I grew up, and once a week I get the pleasure of having lunch with my dad, kind of the highlight of my week.
Still do that.
We still do that. Yes, we do.
Just so you know, I got a new squirrel hat. There you go.
All right, so just one quick thing here. When we were in the middle of that storm, we had Deb Newhart and Jamie Breckenridge, and Deb's going to kill me for this, but I'm going to apologize later. They were working on the WAM system, creating work orders for all the wire down. So you can well imagine how frustrating that was with all the different work orders that had to come out with over 30 crews. For every 3 feet of wire that was put back up, there had to be a capital work order. The rest of them were maintenance unless they were a pole or a transformer. So it was endless work in WAM. So Deb and Jamie asked me to read a letter about their WAM experience. Deb and Jamie, you two need to stay away from Paul. So we're going to turn it back over to Frank Lawson. Thank you.
Thanks. That was just moderately embarrassing. The one thing about coming back to your hometown is that pictures tend to surface of your past. I know that Richard Jeffries has a whole bunch of prime pictures stored away somewhere from my junior high and high school days, which, and I apologize for the short shorts. That was, they were actually, you know, when other kids got Levi's, my mom made my pants. That was horrible. And just so you know, someone asked me, what do you have lunch? You know, what do you actually have lunch with your dad? What do you eat? And my response was Walmart salads, because that's what he did. He would drive to Walmart, get a salad, and meet me for lunch. And it really is a key piece of why I came back to Eugene. He's had some health troubles recently, and so it was a little difficult for me to watch that because of that was made last summer, and so things have changed since then. But I want to talk a little bit about 2017. I really did have the fortunate opportunity, really throughout the whole month of November and into December, right before the ice storm, to meet with over 40 groups in the utility and talk about our strategy and talk about direction. And it's important that we understand and put the right framework on 2017 from a strategic perspective. Strategy really, we need to remind ourselves, has two distinct purposes. One is it needs to provide guidance for the decisions of which we're going to make, and two, it needs to inspire us to act, to take action. And so when we give it those tests, you have to look and you have to say that the water utility and the electric utility fall into different categories when it comes to the strategic direction of each of those utilities. The electric utility, we know we have a number of large resource decisions to make over the next 10 years. Roughly $1.5 billion worth of resource decisions to make between now and 2028. And those are a significant level of decisions of which we're going to have to use a business model that does not exist today and have a relationship with our customers that is much more of a partnership than just a supplier and a consumer. And on the water side, as we've heard a number of times this morning, we need to deal with the resiliency issue of a single source. And it's not just the source, it's the transmission, it's the treatment, it's the distribution. And so we have some really distinct challenges both on the water side and the electric side. One of the things that did resonate with the people that I talked with in the utility is a recognition of the importance of customer confidence going forward. And really, customer confidence is built by our performance, our day-to-day performance, the rely on us piece of what we do. It really takes the three big things that we talk about often: safety, delivering the product safely, safety in the community, reliability, and affordability of the products that we provide today. In many cases, we talked about examples. The '72 Ford Pinto, which struggled with flame, apparently. '72 and Ford corrected the problem, but they never recovered. The Ford Pinto never became successful after customers lost confidence, even though the product was corrected. We talked about New Coke and the fact that New Coke, which was really tasted like Pepsi, was never accepted by the customers as well. And eventually Coke responded by changing Old Coke to Coke Classic. And we used other examples like Tylenol, which was an organization that really suffered from a lot of issues relative to customer confidence, and they overcame that confidence by putting in the tamper-proof caps on the product, which is still used today. Customer confidence. And one thing that we learned throughout the Tour de France, I think it was called, was the importance of employee confidence as well as customer confidence. It's hard to sell something you don't believe in yourself. It's hard to communicate something when you yourself don't believe it. And so our performance, our daily performance with each other, our commitments to each other, our commitments to our customers, not only build customer confidence, but they also build employee confidence. We also talked about simplicity and the importance of keeping it simple. One of the examples that I used was a process that we mapped out one time in engineering, which it's not that one, but it sort of looked like that. And in the middle, there was one box that said, do the work, and all this stuff that went on around it. 2017, whenever we have the chance to simplify, we should take it. Because inherently, we don't. If we have two choices and one's simple and one is complex, we choose the complex one. And the reason is that we try to cover every single possible combination of things that could ever happen in a process or a situation. Anything that's ever happened to a utility ever or ever will happen, we try to cover in the policies and the processes that we create. So we not only deal with the 80-20 rule, we deal with more like the 99%, 1% rule. And that 1% is okay. We can trust each other to make those decisions. We don't have to burden the 99% of the decisions we make with the 1% that we can make through judgment, through trust. Simplicity and streamlining is an important part of our future, especially starting in 2017. A piece of that, there's been some discussion about the move, and I just wanted to address that head on. We've looked at the opportunity to consolidate our operations at the Rock. The key piece of the decision, and Suzanne Adkins helped significantly with looking at the financial and the specifics of a decision like this. We did do the feasibility, and we looked and we found out that not only was it feasible, the most expensive thing we could do is to do what we're doing now. And so it makes sense to consolidate at some level at the Roosevelt facility. Now the key decision there is what is really around customers. What customer service and what customer presence do we need downtown? And that's really going to drive whether there's 60 people or what presence we have downtown will be what kind of services do we think we need to offer and under what conditions. But it does look practical and it does look achievable. And so over the next few months, we're going to look at what that plan looks like and how we can do that. There's some significant infrastructure moves. There's also some people moves that are part of it. But it is something that we are going to do. Resiliency is important for both utilities, for everybody in this room. And when we think of resiliency, a lot of times we think about a second source, or we think about, on the electric side, well, on electric and water, both refer to it as the resilient spine. We talk about the importance of local resources, the fact that we have Walterville and Leeburg and Carmen Smith, from a resiliency perspective, are critical. And so our transmission lines, our distribution, adding flexibility to our distribution system. We saw that with the pump station. We also need to do that on the electric side. These are infrastructure resiliency decisions and projects that we need to implement. But it doesn't just stop there. We need to be financially resilient. Sometimes we think about the fact that we have cost savings measures and we pursue things that will improve our affordability. But it's also to give ourselves headroom from a financial perspective. If you're making decisions because you're financially desperate, you're not going to make very good long-term decisions. And so being resilient from a financial perspective is also important to us. The other one is in this room. We need to be resilient from a human perspective, from a workforce perspective. It's why we talk about bench strength. It's why we talk about flexibility. It's why we talk about backup. If you haven't noticed, there's a number of changes and potential bills going through the Oregon legislature that will affect PERS. We recognize that that could change our workforce depending on the outcome of some of those bills. We've looked at it, in fact, in some detail, and recognize that between 50 and 100 people could get affected and actually potentially leave the organization within a year. And that's significant. But we need to be ready for it. We need to plan for it. And we need to understand the impact of the people in this room. So resiliency is not just a strategy from an infrastructure perspective. It's a strategy from how we operate and how we conduct ourselves, how we train ourselves, and how we interact with each other. Our culture is probably the most fundamental thing that we need to work on. How we interact with each other, how we trust each other, how we work together. It was noticed one time, and I think it was Adam who mentioned to me that there's a different attitude when we have a storm or we have a crisis. We have a main break. It was you, wasn't it? And it's because we all have a common mission. We aren't worried about anything other than helping each other and helping our customers. And that's a cultural piece. Culture is about us. It's about our interactions. It isn't something that we can just go, oh, that's a culture. Let's go fix it. There it is right there. We've seen it. It's a series of interactions between everybody in this room. It's important to recognize that we have differences between us. Differences not just in race or gender, cultural backgrounds. We have differences. We have some employees that are represented, some are not. We need to work on all those relationships. Managers, supervisors. We need to be able to guide the employees of which we are teamed with. And I would say one of our most fundamental challenges over the next few years aren't the other ones that you see, it's the cultural ones that we will face. The culture is ours to make, and it's up to us to make them. A couple of quick announcements before we get into the employee awards. This is something that we've been wanting to do for a while. We are going to make some changes to the leave policy. Those of you who are fortunate enough to bump up against that 240-hour barrier, we will remove, under a couple of conditions, if you use at least half of your annual entitlement for vacation, there will be no more use or lose vacation above 240. We'll basically pay you for the hours that you have above 240. The other thing that we've wanted to do for quite some time is a community investment matching. And this is not going to be a formal program. This is for supervisors to work out with their teams. The goal here is that we all recognize we're part of a community. eWeb wants to support you in your efforts in the community. And so what we're going to do is try to get you to extend and help you and pay you to stay a little bit longer in a community effort. So if you're at a school and you're reading with kids and you're spending 2 hours, eWeb will pay you to stay another 2 hours. If you're building a baseball park, volunteering in the community at Food for Lane County, up to 4 hours, we're going to pay you to stay and contribute more to the community. It's a start, but it's something that we want to encourage everybody in this room to do. And we want eWeb to help you to do it. Like I said, that's going to be something for managers and supervisors to manage. It's not going to be something that you're going to read in a policy, but it's something that we feel is important for us in the community. We are here for the community. We are part of the community, and we also want to reach out further. I have really enjoyed going around to the multitudes of groups that we have here. 2017 will be an interesting and a challenging year. We have a lot of opportunities to work together to build our resiliency, to work on customer confidence, and to also work on our culture. All those things are up to us. It starts with leadership. It starts with accountability. We will hold ourselves accountable. I've made changes in my discussions with the board on how I am held accountable. So my goals, which are the performance of the utility, will be used in my performance evaluation. And I think it's important that that starts from the top. I'm looking forward to 2017. I hope you are as well. And with that, I'm going to call to the stage James Palmer and Zulema Jones. And we're going to celebrate a little bit some of those people who received awards from other people that they work with. I want to thank the people who nominated other employees. You're really giving a gift of recognition to other employees that you've worked with. So we have several categories. And so thank you. I look forward to 2017. And with that, I'll turn it over to Zulema Jones and James Palmer.
Thank you, Frank. Good morning, everybody. I'm Zulema Jones, and I work in the customer care department. I've been with eWeb for 8 years and in customer care for 6. If you don't know what the customer care program is, it's a program that eWeb funds and runs internally to help our struggling customers. It is one of the most robust assistance programs in this region for a utility of our size. So you all should be very proud of that. As it said in the trivia, this last year we helped over 5,400 households in need. What that means is that we provide not only bill assistance payments directly to customer accounts, but we also provide education on budgeting, affordability, and even information such as carbon footprint. So we're trying to provide a well-rounded program for our customers. So that's a little bit about me and what I do. And this is James Palmer, and he will be helping today present the awards with me.
Hi there, I'm James Palmer. I work in the Collection and Field Service Department, credit and collections to be more specific. I've been with the utility for about 3.5 years. Frank makes this look really easy, because it's not. So the Credit and Collections Department is tasked with managing higher risk accounts that are inactive or have a long past due balance. managing that risk to the utility and trying to keep that balance from going to an outside collection agency. So last year we were able to collect $108,000 in-house prior to referrals, which helped save the utility quite a bit of money. And then our overall budget for the year was $600,000. We came in 49% under budget, saving the utility about $300,000.
James and I are honored to be here today to announce the winners of the 2016 Employee Awards. We are here today to celebrate not only the outstanding work by individuals, but also the teams that help make eWeb an organization we're proud to represent. These awards are made possible by all of you, our coworkers, peers, and supervisors who have taken a moment out of your busy days to recognize an individual or team for their outstanding work. Today we will be presenting awards to 6 individuals and teams in the following categories: eWeb Cares, Power of Our People, Safety, Sustainability, Perform, and Transform. This is the 5th annual Employee Awards. Over the past years, we have celebrated the accomplishments of many recipients. Let's give a round of applause to all the previous year recipients. Thank you all for your hard work and dedication to eWeb and our community. This year we received a total of 35 nominations. Selecting a winner for each category is a difficult task. All of you nominated are so deserving. Congratulations to you all. So without further ado, we will start with our first award.
The first award that we're going to present is the eWeb Cares Award, which recognizes an individual or team for being an active participant in our community. The nominations are Jenny Henry, Jose Wren, Christina Svettel, Ray Parker, and Team Brian Reed and the network crew.
And the winner is, drum roll please, Jose Wren, Customer Operations. Jose is an active contributor to many customer and community activities. His enthusiasm, warm smile, and cheerful attitude make him an outstanding ambassador for eWeb. In 2016, Jose was involved in Run to Stay Warm, HUG, Food for Lane County, and the Employee Giving Campaign, just to name a few. With his caring disposition and generosity, Jose truly represents the values recognized by the eWeb Cares Award. Congratulations, and thank you, Jose.
The next award is the Power of Our People Award, which recognizes an individual or team that demonstrates excellence in teamwork, diversity, inclusion, leadership, and positive energy and peer motivation. The nominees are Megan Capper, Jerry Reller, Brian Reed, Misty Fisher, and Team Ray Salgado and Jessica McClaws.
And the winner is Brian Reed, Electric Line Crew Leader. Brian is a Public Power rock star. For Public Power Week, Brian went above and beyond to support the Power Readers program by reading to 4 different groups of children. During the recent ice storm, he assumed the operations chief role for the entire event and participated in the customer open house, sharing his expertise and experience with our customers. Brian's positive, team-oriented attitude and his willingness to support his colleagues unites work groups in a common cause and demonstrates that we're all one eWeb, no matter what job we perform. Congratulations and thank you, Brian.
Our next award is the Safety Excellence Award, which recognizes an individual or team that creates a significant positive impact on employee or public safety. This year's nominees are Nate Watto, Brandon Hardy, Ray Parker, Team 369 Support Services, Team Safety Expo Planning Committee, and Team Nate Watto and Bryce Estes.
And the winner is Brendan Hardy, maintenance worker, Hayden Bridge. In 2016, Brendan demonstrated exceptional commitment to improving the safety culture, not only at Hayden Bridge Treatment Facility, but throughout eWeb. He is an active member of the Safety Committee, performs quarterly site inspections, and partners with the safety team to review and assess rooftop fall protection, ladder safety, and first aid programs. I personally would like to add that Brendan is also a very valued member of our diversity team and the Working Better Together staff. So thank you, Brendan, for your initiative and your motivation to keep us safe.
Our next award is the Perform Award, which recognizes an individual or team that demonstrates excellence in operational and organizational efficiencies, cost-saving measures, and overall commitment to our work. This year's nominees are Catherine Gray, Josh Ruddick, Karen DeCellis, Michelle Klemp, Rich Fatu, Susan Chang, Tammy Austin, Tia Marie Harwood, Team Jeremy Whittlesey and Diane Kraus, love those guys, and Team Michelle Chadwell and Josh Geske.
And the winner is Tia Marie Harwood, Senior Accounting Analyst. Tia Marie is a go-to person. If you need something done, you go to her. She received many nominations from colleagues across the utility. Tia Marie brings talent, enthusiasm, and dedication to any team she works with. She seeks mastery and excellence in everything she does, which is a significant benefit to eWeb. Thank you and congratulations, Tia Marie.
The next award is our Sustainability Award, which recognizes an individual or team that helps eWeb focus on long-term investments of social, financial, and environmental aspects, helping eWeb become a more sustainable organization. This year's nominees are Andrew Janos and Suzanne Adkins.
And the winner, Andrew Janos and Suzanne Atkins. After some deliberation, the selection committee decided to recognize two winners for the eWeb Sustainability Award. Andrew is being recognized because of the enormous amount of behind-the-scenes work he does to contribute to the sustainability culture here at eWeb. He created and implemented the composting program at The Rock. When he travels to our upriver facilities, Andrew collects recycling and brings it back into town for appropriate disposal. Andrew has a can-do attitude and is always willing to help out the sustainability program at eWeb. Suzanne is being recognized because of her ongoing and committed leadership to the Sustainability Action Team. She has held the leadership role of the SAT for several years and is a constant champion for the team and its mission. In part through her leadership, the SAT continues to perform great work and push eWeb towards better practices in sustainability. Congratulations to both Suzanne and Andrew.
And the last award we're presenting today is the Transform Award, which recognizes an individual or team that demonstrates flexibility, innovation, creative problem solving, and being an agent of change. This year's nominees are Rachel Chiltron, the Finance Bond Team, the UltiPro Implementation Team, Carmen Smith Negotiation Team, and Team Rachel Chilton and Maria Wren.
All right, and the winner? The winner is the Finance Bond Team. Okay. So this group is made up of Aaron Balmer, Ben Ulrich, Deborah Hart, Jerry Reller, Karen Lee, Leslie Kidd, Sandy Goodell, Sue Fahey, and Susan Eicher. The 2016 Finance Work Plan included issuing water construction bonds. Issuing bonds is intense, detailed, and time-consuming work. The result was $5 million in savings to the water utility due to historically low interest rates and the utility's improved financial condition. After such strong results, this group identified the benefit to our customers and willingly took on the challenge of refinancing electric bonds, even though it was unplanned work. They completed the largest ever bond issuance in the shortest amount of time, which saved our customers $19 million. This allowed eWeb to avoid an electric price increase for the first time in over a decade. Their actions reinforce the culture we want to promote of always looking for ways to cut expenses or increase revenue to the benefit of our customer owners. Thank you and congratulations to you all. And with that, we will turn it back over to Frank. Thank you.
So before I close, I just wanted to thank a couple of people. I want to just thank Jessica and Jen, Anne, for really organizing the breakfast this morning, the annual team breakfast, and all their work. Monica as well, putting this together, whether it be the food or the presentation. Aaron, thank you as well. I also wanted to mention, under the shared services, there was one group that I did not mention, I think deserves some special recognition, and that's the UltiPro team. They did a lot with our new HR system. It's going to be the platform that we use going forward. It's incredibly important to us because it manages our paychecks, which is an important part of what we do as well. And so I wanted to recognize that team. I also wanted to thank Mark and Paul. Paul, any more comments like that and you're fired? Just so you know. Anyway, thanks, Paul, appreciate it. And Zulema and James, I wanted to thank them also for their participation this morning. Before we go and close the meeting, I again wanted to thank everybody here for making eWeb special. We have a really tremendous responsibility in our community. Our slogan, "Rely on Us," is something that we take seriously, and really we take it and we have to rely on each other. So we are us in many cases. There are pictures up here that I think that's Mitch and Brian, and then a whole bunch of people eating. Apparently we like to eat, which is important. But we also have opportunities to get better, and we have opportunities to look out for each other. Safety, reliability, affordability are all critical things for us as we move forward. I am your general manager, which means that I welcome comments. I want to be open. I want to be transparent. I need your help. I want your feedback. Those of you that have worked with me for 6 years or so know that you can tell me things even when you don't think I want to hear them. And I think it's important for all of us to recognize that the culture that we create, including how we interact and how we argue and how we debate, is important for us to move forward. With that, I'll close this year's 2017 annual all-hands meeting and really our annual team breakfast, which is what I'd really rather call it. It was better than the burritos, you have to admit. So, please be safe in 2017. Please work hard and help each other. Thank you very much.